Hello and thank you for tuning into News Today. Without delay, take a look at the headlines first. Public Examination Prevention of Unfair Means Rules 2024 notified. Global Navigation Satellite System-based electronic toll collection system to be implemented in India. Packaged water maker Bisleri proposes water credits akin to carbon credits. Impact of political representation on forest conservation, a study finds insights from the PESA Act. CDRI policy brief on developing power sector resilience. WHO 5-year milestone report on global trans fat elimination 2023. In our very first news, in a significant move to ensure integrity of public examinations, the Union Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions has notified new rules under the Public Examinations Prevention of Unfair Means Act 2024. These new rules, which came into effect on June 21, 2024, aim to combat unfair practices and maintain the sanctity of public examinations across India. To begin with, here are the key highlights of the rules notified. The newly notified rules empower venue-in-charge officials to take appropriate action, including filing FIRs if they detect any prima facie case of unfair means or offences during examinations. For cases involving the management or board of directors of service providers, the rules mandate the formation of a special committee by the Public Examination Authority. Service provider is any agency, organization, body, association of persons, business entity, etc., which is engaged by the Public Examination Authority for conduct of public examination. To maintain transparency and accountability, regional officers are now required to periodically report all incidents of unfair means or offences to the Public Examination Authority along with details of actions taken. Let's discuss further some specifics about the Public Examination Prevention of Unfair Means Act 2024. The Act defines unfair means broadly, covering various forms of misconduct such as unauthorized access to question papers or answer keys, assisting candidates during examination, tampering with computer networks, and conducting fake examinations. Penalties for violations are severe. Individuals found using unfair means face imprisonment ranging from 3 to 5 years and fines up to 10 lakh rupees. For service providers or groups committing organized crime, fines can reach up to 1 crore rupees, with the additional requirement to cover the proportionate cost of the examination. Importantly, all offences under this Act are classified as cognizable, non-bailable and non-compoundable, underscoring the government's commitment to cracking down on examination malpractices. In conclusion, these new rules represent a robust framework to safeguard the integrity of public examinations in India. Their implementation is likely to significantly deter unfair practices and restore public faith in the examination system.
Ahead in the news, in a significant move towards modernizing the toll collection system, the National Highways Authority of India is gearing up to implement a global navigation satellite system-based electronic toll collection system. This initiative will integrate with the existing FASTag ecosystem, initially using a hybrid model where both systems will operate simultaneously. Currently, the FASTag system relies on radio frequency identification technology and is a part of the National Electronic Toll Collection Program. However, the GNSS-based ETC offers a barrier-free method of toll collection, utilizing satellites to track a vehicle's movement and calculate tolls based on the distance traveled. So how does this new system work? Toll plazas will function as stationary enforcement gantries, identifying GNSS-equipped vehicles. A centralized toll charger will manage the distance and toll calculations for these GNSS vehicles traveling on GNSS stretch. The toll charger will receive distance and timestamps of GNSS vehicles from an onboard unit fitted on GNSS vehicles. These OBUs will be onboarded with the toll charger through issuer entities, much like the issuer banks in the FASTag system. The payment mechanism will remain similar to the current FASTag system. The GNSS-based ETC system promises several significant benefits. It enables barrier-free, free-flow tolling and distance-based tolling, which will reduce congestion on highways. Additionally, it helps plug leakages and check toll evaders, aligning India's toll collection systems with global practices. In conclusion, the GNSS-based ETC system marks a significant step forward in India's journey towards a more efficient and modern toll collection infrastructure. Ahead, let's delve into an innovative story that could change the way we think about water conservation. Packaged water maker Bisleri is taking a groundbreaking step in by proposing the concept of water credits similar to carbon credits. To bring this vision to life, Bisleri has partnered with the TERI School of Advanced Studies. Together, they are conducting a study and plan to share their findings with the central government, aiming to develop a comprehensive framework for water credits in the beverages industry. So what exactly are water credits? They are a market-based mechanism, much like carbon credits, designed to incentivize water conservation and quality improvement. Just as carbon credits are generated by projects that reduce, avoid, or remove carbon emissions, each representing 1 less ton of carbon dioxide or its equivalent in the atmosphere, water credits reward those who adopt water-saving measures. Individuals and entities can earn tradable credits by adopting water-saving measures. These credits can then be traded, allowing others to offset their water usage or enhance their water management practices. Why is this significant? Water credits have the potential to address water stress and help achieve Sustainable Development Goal 6, which focuses on clean water and sanitation. In India, 11 out of 15 major river basins are projected to be water stressed by 2025. Water credit will enhance water use efficiency in agriculture, the largest extractor of groundwater, and will also promote investment in sustainable water management practices. However, implementing a water credit system comes with its own set of challenges. Unlike carbon emissions, water savings require a localized approach, taking into account rainfall and consumption at a watershed level. Transactions are spatially limited to hydrological boundaries, and there is a risk of wealthier entities dominating the market. To overcome these challenges, a regulatory body must be established to facilitate and maintain free market conditions. Adopting a multiplayer approach can also be beneficial. For example, industries could buy water credits from water-rich municipalities, helping them mitigate financial constraints. Emulating global best practices such as the water trading markets in Australia's Murray-Darling Basin can also provide a roadmap for effective water trading. In conclusion, Bisleri's proposal for water credits is a promising initiative that could transform water conservation efforts.
In our next news, a recent study has shed light on the significant impact of political representation on forest conservation, specifically focusing on the effects of the Panchayat Extension to Scheduled Areas Act or PESA. Enacted in 1996, PESA extended constitutional provisions related to panchayats to scheduled areas under the 5th schedule, which are economically backward regions with a predominant tribal population and a viable administrative entity such as a district, block, etc. For those unfamiliar, PESA introduced crucial changes in local governance, establishing Gram Sabhas to manage and protect natural resources, granting rights over minor forest produce, and empowering tribals to reclaim their land. Notably, it mandated an electoral quota reserving all chairperson positions and at least half the seats on each local government councils for scheduled tribes or STs. Furthermore, the study's findings are remarkable. It reveals that boosting ST representation through PESA led to an average increase in tree canopy cover by 3% per year and reduced deforestation rates. This positive impact stands in stark contrast to other legislations that don't ensure political representation for STs, such as the 73rd Amendment in the Non-Scheduled Areas and the Forest Rights Act of 2006, which showed no positive conservation effects. Study found that STs have economic incentive to protect forest, as their livelihoods are based on non-timber forest produce, thus improving overall health of forests. The study also found that increased ST representation led to more frequent opposition against mining projects. Wrapping up, let's take a look at some recommendations made for improving forest conservation. Firstly, mandated political representation for marginalized populations is a potential institutional mechanism that can yield improvements in conservation efforts. Additionally, vesting power in umbrella institutions such as inclusive multi-purpose village councils, rather than targeted community resource management institutions, can better address the dual policy challenges of forest management and development. In conclusion, by empowering local communities, particularly those with deep-rooted connections to the land, policies like PESA can create a powerful synergy between democratic representation and environmental protection. In our next news, we turn our attention to a vital policy brief released by the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, or CDRI, that explores disaster resilience strategies for the power sector. This brief particularly focuses on the measures undertaken by the state of Odisha to protect against cyclones and floods. Disaster resilience is all about anticipating, planning, and reducing disaster risks to effectively protect people, communities, their livelihoods, health, cultural heritage, socio-economic assets, and ecosystems. Let's delve into some of the key findings from this policy brief regarding Odisha's transmission and distribution infrastructure. A staggering 80% of electricity poles in Odisha are vulnerable to high wind speeds, and over 75% of distribution lines cannot withstand cyclonic winds. The situation is likely similar in other coastal states, highlighting the urgent need for robust resilience strategies. Now, let's move on to the key policy recommendations proposed in the brief. Firstly, enhancing codes and standards for wind zonation is crucial. This involves regularly updating wind zonation maps to reflect the most recent and localized meteorological data. Secondly, creating data access platforms for physical climate risks is essential. These platforms will facilitate clear communication and collaboration with disaster management authorities. Thirdly, promoting risk-informed governance is necessary. This includes incorporating a resilience component in policy, training, and capacity-building initiatives, and developing a cross-sectoral framework for enhanced stakeholder collaboration. Lastly, the brief emphasizes innovative financing solutions. These include insurance, reinsurance, catastrophe bonds, and the creation of a grant component for power utilities to address emergent needs. Let's take a moment to understand more about the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, or CDRI. Launched at the UN Climate Action Summit in 2019 by India, CDRI aims to promote the resilience of infrastructure systems to climate and disaster risks. It is a global partnership of nations, UN agencies, multilateral development banks, and the private sector. Currently, it includes 39 countries and 7 organizations. In conclusion, the CDRI policy brief on developing power sector resilience is a critical step towards safeguarding our infrastructure against natural disasters.
Ahead in the news, in a significant stride towards global health, the World Health Organization has published its 5-year milestone report on the elimination of industrially produced trans fatty acids, or TFA. This comprehensive report highlights the progress made over the past 5 years and its impact on public health worldwide. Let's begin with an overview of trans fatty acids. These unsaturated fatty acids can be sourced either industrially or naturally. Industrial trans fats are created by adding hydrogen to liquid vegetable oils, making them more solid and extending the shelf life of foods. Naturally occurring trans fats are found in meat and dairy products from ruminant animals such as cows, sheep, and goats. WHO recommends that adults limit their trans fat consumption to less than 1% of their total energy intake. Now turning to the key highlights of the report. By late 2023, WHO's best practice policies for trans fat elimination were implemented in 53 countries, covering approximately 46% of the global population. However, the report also notes a concerning statistic from India, where around 4.63% of coronary heart disease deaths are attributed to TFA intake. To further address this issue, WHO has outlined key recommendations. Sub-regional bodies must pass mandatory TFA elimination policies that are directly binding on member states to facilitate trade and policy implementation. Additionally, food manufacturers should voluntarily eliminate industrially produced TFA from their product portfolios beyond just complying with national policies. There have been notable global and national initiatives aimed at eliminating TFA. On the global front, WHO's Replace Action Package offers a strategic approach to remove industrially produced TFA from national food supplies. Moreover, the WHO Validation Program for Trans Fat Elimination drives policy progress and recognizes countries' achievement in eliminating TFA. On the national level, India has made significant strides. The Food Safety and Standards Prohibition and Restrictions on Sales Second Amendment Regulations 2021 limited industrial TFA to not more than 3% in all fats and oils by January 2021 and to not more than 2% by January 2022. Additionally, the Trans Fat Free logo launched by FSSAI as part of the Eat Right India movement helps consumers make healthier choices. In conclusion, the WHO's milestone report underscores the importance of continued efforts to eliminate industrially produced trans fats globally. Today's personality in news is Sucheta Kriplani, an eminent freedom fighter and India's first woman Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, serving from 1963. We remember her on her birth anniversary, commemorated on June 25th. Sucheta Kriplani was an Indian politician and freedom fighter born in Ambala district of Haryana. She was one of the 15 distinguished women who were part of the drafting committee of the Indian Constitution. Delving into her key contributions, she was a founding member of the All India Mahila Congress established in 1940. Sucheta Kriplani actively participated in the Quit India movement, working underground to evade arrest. Her dedication extended to several relief activities, including aid during the 1934 Bihar earthquake and the 1946 Naukhali pre-partition riots. She was also part of numerous delegations, such as the parliamentary delegation to Turkey in 1954, the International Labour Organization in 1961, and the United Nations General Assembly in 1949. Through her remarkable actions, she exemplified the values of courage, patriotism, leadership, and compassion.
As we conclude today's main news, let's take a look at some quick updates. Ladakh has achieved full functional literacy under the Ullas Nav Bharat Saksharta Karyakram or New India Literacy Program. Functional literacy means the ability to use literacy skills for personal and communities' functioning and development. Exercise HOPEX is a joint military exercise between Indian Air Force and Egyptian Air Force. Its aim is to promote bilateral and regional cooperation. International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants for Russia's Chief of Army and former Defense Minister on allegations of war crimes. ICC is the world's first permanent and treaty-based organization to help end impunity for the perpetrators of the most serious crimes of concern to the international community. Recently constituted 18th Lok Sabha will have a leader of opposition, which remained vacant for the past 10 years. Leader of the largest opposition party with not less than 1/10 seats of the total strength of the Lok Sabha is recognized as a LOP. RBI has released the data for India's external debt as at the end of March 2024. India's external debt was placed at $663.8 billion, an increase of $39.7 billion over last year. Biomass briquettes emerge as a fuel alternative for the power and electricity generation sector. Presently, biomass pellets are commonly used as a coal alternative. These are compact blocks of organic materials like agricultural residues, forestry waste, or waste biomass. Some experts have raised concerns about heating food at high temperatures and then packing it in plastic containers, which can cause harmful chemicals such as bisphenol A, phthalate, and styrene to leach into food. Chang'e 6 probe from China has successfully brought back the first samples ever collected from the moon's far side. Reaching the moon's far side is challenging due to its remoteness and rugged landscape, featuring massive craters and limited flat areas. Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Knowledge. We appreciate your company. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For the solutions to today's quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, remember to visit the provided links in the description below.